Hi, I'm going to show you how to create a character with the app name My Hero. We are here on the view listing all the recorded characters, and you just have to press the plus button to start the creation. We begin by defining the race of our character, which will be a gnome in our example. You can see that the screen is split in two. On the right, you can read the list of the chosen racial traits. On the left, the alternative racial traits. Please note that the use of the alternative traits is an option described in the Advanced Player's Guide, so you will not have all the available options available in the base version of the app. By clicking on one of the available traits, you will see it becomes blue, whereas the trait it is replacing will become red. You only need to press the arrow to exchange these traits. You can continue this and go back to the default traits by pressing the cross button. Once you are done, click on Next. Some racial traits need a choice from you. This view will appear when it is the case. For our gnome, we have to choose the nature of her obsession. Jewelry here. Here is the view allowing us to define the ability scores of our character. We first have to choose a method to do it among those proposed, each of them being detailed in the core rulebook. We choose the purchase points and allow our gnome 20 points. The lower part of the screen shows the 6 abilities as well as the possible racial bonuses. If appropriate, meaning when the character is human or half-human, you will have to define the floating +2 bonus to one ability score. You can see that the evolving points are evolving when I change the ability scores. Let's make the following distribution and let's continue. This view is globally the ID of your character you need to fill. Most details are descriptive, but there are several values which are more than that, like the god she is praying, the languages she speaks, or the alignment. Let me fill the raw data before explaining these choices. Let's define the god of our character, Gozre. You have to write it down and cannot just pick it in a list because of license issue. However, you can check the spelling pressing this button. If the check is positive, the app recognized the god and, in the case of a cleric for example, it will propose the corresponding domains to you at the proper time. Let's have a look at languages now. You can see here the number of additional languages known by your character. You can pick the language you want in this list, Goblin for example, and add it pressing the plus button. If the language you want to add isn't in this list, you can write it on there in the other box and press plus the same way. Pressing cross will reset your choices. Now that this is done, we can continue. This view allows you to define the traits of your character. This is an option described in the Advanced Player's Guide, so you will not find so many of them in the base version. As often, the right-hand part of the screen lists your choices, and the left-hand part, the availability. Traits are divided in different types, and there is no limit to the number, as it is up to the DM to decide such a number. We are creating a character without any optional rule, so she doesn't have any traits. Here is the view which allows you to define your character's class. You have here the list of all available classes for this type. Core classes are those presented in the core rulebook, base classes are those presented in the other books added to the core classes, and NPC classes are also presented in the core rulebook but in chapter 14, creating NPCs. There are classes for which your character needs to satisfy conditions. Check this box. So this is taken into account. Our character is a druid. You can define here at which level she should start. The app will give her the corresponding wealth and experience points. Moreover, you will be able to level up multiple times in a row at the end of the creation. But in our case, we are creating a level 1 character with an average wealth for his class. We then define the favored class of our character, as well as the potential archetypes. Please note that one more time, the notion of archetype was described in the Advanced Player's Guide, so there are not so many of them in the base version of the app. If this frame doesn't appear, there is no archetype for this class in the database of your version of the app. You can define 2 archetypes, those being taken into account if you check the boxes in front of the names. Let's continue. This view will be shown when the class you chose needs the selection of an option. In our example, we need to define how the nature bond of our druid expresses itself. We chose the animal companion and continue the creation. As our character took a level in her favorite class, a dedicated bonus is offered to her. The core rulebook offers to choose between 1 additional hit point and 1 additional skill point. The Advanced Player's Guide and other books describe the third option, depending on the class and race of the character. As already said, such options are not available in the base version. It is however the case for our Gnome Druid. The corresponding option is described below the frame. Nevertheless, we choose an additional skill point and continue the process. Here is the screen allowing you to allocate her skill points to your character. On the left hand part of the screen is the skill list. This icon indicates a non-class skill, this icon a class skill, and this icon a family skill, on which you need to click to see its child. Let's have a look at knowledge. Here you can see a red badge with the remaining skill points to allocate. You can allocate one pressing the arrow like this. You can see that the right part of the screen lists the ranks of the skills already acquired by your character. Here will be written all these ranks, and here's the summary of the allocated points at this level. You can use these arrows to deduct 1 point recently added, and this +1 button to add 1 rank to every skill of the higher rank. This button is of course useless during the creation process. The cross button will reset all your choices. Well, let's allocate the skill points of Lini and let's validate. Let's choose the fit of our character. You have on the left hand part of the screen the available fits. You can click on each of them to have a summarized description of it and click on this arrow to select it. As always, the cross button will reset your choice. By checking this box, you will ask the app to only show the fits for which your character fulfills the acquisition conditions. The number of fits to choose is here, and those already chosen will be listed here. The fits already possessed by your character are listed here. Lini is self-sufficient. We made all the necessary choices. It is time to validate the creation. Lini is here. Let's have a look at the stats. Knowing our choice, we are first going to be asked about Lini's companion. It is a snow leopard called Drugami. It will have the average hit points. It has for the moment no ability increase, and it knows the weapon finesse fit. Let's define the tricks it has learned through Undead Animal and the one it has learned from being Lini's companion. Finally, let's add its 2 skill points in Perception and Stealth. Let's choose a portrait for Lini. Here is Lini, and here are Lini's and Drugami's stats block. You can press the I button to see some more detailed text or specific bonuses. We now need to equip Lini, define her attack options and make a spell list. After this, she will be ready to find the path of her adventures.